Ah, yes, we are here, live in living color. What's up? What's going on? We here now. No turning back, right? No turning back. We here now. Yes. Let me give my proper introduction. But before I do that, let me do something. I gotta make an adjustment. Hold on 1 second. Let me see something real quick. Make one adjustment. Just one. There we go. Turn him down. Right, there you go. There we go. Much better. Yes. A little bit better. That's good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode, a special edition of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. Of course, I'm your host, Manager Marty. I see somebody in the chat starting already calling me Mac Marty. You know Mac Marty is activated. Anyway, salute to my guy who's in the chat. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. So double salute to him. My guy, Matthew Thomas. That's my main man, Pots and Pan, representing all the way from hot Vegas. Yes, representing Vegas. Always a pleasure to see him. We got my guy. Got to give him a shout out. He and I definitely finally was able to physically meet for the first time last night. And that's my guy. Double salute to him, my man Deem, who represents his own channel, Deem by any means. He's in the chat. What's up, Deem? Representing my city of Philly very proudly and very well. You know. What up, Steve? All things. What's good? Hey, we got to talk about it. We have to. A lot of things that I want to talk about today regarding Jaron Boots Ennis and his fight last night. Of course, in Boots' hometown and mine, the great city of Philadelphia last night. Before I do that, let me definitely double salute a few members of the channel and supervisors of the Roll the Tape film crew. My guy, double salute to him, Jeremy Austin. What's up? And my other guy, double salute to him, Michael Dangerfield. Man, we got everybody in the chat. I'm going to wait just for a few moments. Got a little bit of extra time because people are coming in. And we're going to give them an opportunity to come into the family barbecue today. Yeah, you know, this is the family barbecue. So, you know, sometimes you got to sit down with the family and have a family meeting. It's necessary. And we're going to do that in just a few moments. Man, I also got to double salute my brother, my friend, my main man, Pots and Pans. And that's my guy. You know he is a day one supporter. And he's also a member of the channel. He is not the supervisor or a supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. I think he's probably the vice president. He is the vice president of the Roll the Tape film crew. And he doesn't even know that is his position, but I just hired him on the spot. And that's my guy, my friend, double salute. Mr. Pragmatic is in the building. Always a pleasure, my guy. Hey, Joseph, what I do now? Joseph said I'm too funny. What I do, man? What I do, man? What I do funny now? You know I'm always playing around. What's going on? And listen, let me put this plug in real quick. Because I'm starting to see, right, that the likes and the viewership is not congruent. If it's possible. If it's, you know, Let me reframe that. On YouTube, I don't ask for much. Typically, I don't ask for much. Really, I don't ask for anything. But if I do ask for something, that's because I really, really need it. So if you can, it would be very helpful. If you can, if you're in the chat, this message is for you as well. Please hit that like button. Double jab that like button. Let the likes be congruent with the viewership, because once the viewership increase exponentially, other people in the YouTube boxing community will also get this education and entertainment that I'm going to produce today. Not too much entertainment, definitely some education today, all right? Can I get another like, please? I saw one like go up since I said that. And also, do not hesitate to support the channel by making monetary contributions, as you all so gracefully do. You can do so by providing a super sticker, super chat. You know I'm going to publicly acknowledge your super chat. Let's get this thing rolling now, because it allows me to continue to produce quality content and give you all content that's not rehearsed or regurgitated or repackaged from other content creators. I have my own unique style. I have my own way of presenting information, and I think that I can admit to myself, and I'm sure most of you can agree, that I put a lot of time and I invest a lot of time to conduct good research that I've conducted way before I became an official content creator. And of course, when things happen, as far as current events in the sport and the business of boxing, to provide you all with quality content. And all of your contributions, irregardless of whether it's small, medium, or large, I promise you, I greatly appreciate them all the same. So don't let the fact that we're just talking about a reaction of what happened last night and some other observations that I've made about this hot button issue to prevent you or hinder you from still making a contribution through your super chat or super sticker. And of course, you can also feel free to cash at me at any time during the live production of this broadcast at $Manager Marty. M-A-R-T-Y is how you spell Marty. And of course, you already know how to spell manager. So that's $Manager Marty. And of course, I will publicly read and acknowledge your cash app. All right. Okay. Now, there's a few things that I have to address. And before I do that, though, I still see that the likes are not congruent with the viewership. I don't ask for much. I don't. I promise you I don't. I don't. Can I get one like? Just one more. We'll do the Town Watch check-in another time. Typically, we do Town Watch check-ins, but we are not going to perform our Town Watch check-in today because this is a special edition. Special edition of the broadcast. Yeah, we're here now. We got to talk about it. The question on the floor today, obviously, is a question that most people already have answered within themselves after last night's fight and even during the fight, and that is about Jaron Boots Ennis. And has he been exposed? That's the word that's being associated to Boots' name right now. Exposed. You know, was he exposed last night fighting, Karen? I'm gonna call him KC. Okay, so if you hear me refer to him as KC, it's because I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I don't want to butcher the man's last name. Nor do I know how to pronounce his first name. Some people say Karen. I think the ring announcer said Karan. I don't know, but I'd rather just say KC, which is the initials of his first and his last name. So, of course, Boots fought KC last night. I received so many different text messages, DMs on Instagram, and even Facebook messengers telling me that when the light shined in the area I was sitting in, which was at ringside, that people saw me on the zone. They saw me on TV last night. So whatever 5 seconds of fame that I received unknowingly, salute to the zone. They didn't know I was there. Don't nobody know me. I'm not famous. I'm not a celebrity. I always tell you all that. And friends of mine always argue me down and say that I am a celebrity. But you know what? It doesn't make a difference if I'm a celebrity or not, as long as my influence and my integrity is felt and observed and appreciated in the business and the sport of boxing. That's all that matters to me. And of course, if you all learn at least one thing about the sport and or the business of boxing that you did not know before you encountered this channel, I'm so satisfied. It only takes one. Yeah, we already got people in the chat already telling us about how Boots is not ready for this fighter and that fighter. We're going to touch on all of that today, and I hope all of you are having a good day thus far. All things, you saw me? All things in the chat. He said he saw me. You saw me on TV, man? I was sitting, you know, when I go to fights, majority of the time, you know, I sit ringside. Majority of the time, I'm sitting ringside. But I was sitting very close. I usually, for me, oh, Gary, double salute to my guy, Gary. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Take film crew. Gary in the chat says he saw me on TV as well last night. I try to sit, this is how I roll. I try to sit at least somewhere between the first or and it depends on the section too. I sit in a specific section when I go to fights. I don't just go just because it's ringside. I don't care about that because I want to make sure I see everything that's happening around the center of play. Now, the center of play, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this, but the center of play is something that us officials call, and we identify the center of play, which is the area inside of the gate where the commissioner or the executive director sits, the supervisor, the referees who are not officiating fights, the judges, of course. If there's a sanctioning body that's present, their representation, etc., right? Boxing managers, etc., sponsors, etc. But anyway, I always try to sit very close ringside, all right? And so I was sitting very close, and I saw a lot. I observed a lot, and I'm going to speak on it today. I'm going to speak on it in just a few seconds. But let me start this off by saying this. Boots won the fight. I just want to make sure that is not my opinion. Boots won the fight. That is a fact. And I have to preface everything I'm going to say first by laying the foundation. Can I get another like, please? I want to continue, but I'm not feeling the viewership is increasing exponentially. You know I like that. Y'all know I like that. But the likes, though, the likes are stale. It's just people just sitting back. Listen now, this is a family barbecue. You know, with the family barbecue, we don't allow freeloaders at our family function. In other words, we don't allow people to just come in, have a plate ready with aluminum foil, you take the food that I'm serving, wrap it up, and then leave. That we don't do freeloaders over here. What we do though is we invite everybody to come on in, you know, as a family, and then you eat all the food. Because I got some food for you today. Food for thought. I have a lot of food for thought. And that's what I serve on this channel. Because we air fry over here, right? And so after I finish air frying, I serve the food. And then we all break bread together as a family. But Boots won the fight last night. And there is no question about that. And I have to say that. I just have to say that because people have already commented in the comments section of a shorts video that I published late last night, right after the fight in the parking lot. I wish I was able to do it inside the arena after the fight was over, but it was too much traffic moving. Everybody's leaving the arena, and there was too much going on. So when I got to the parking lot, that's when I did their shorts video, and a couple people was commenting in the comments section, but one of the comments and other people was emailing me soon as the fight wasn't even over yet. I'm getting emails in the 10th round by, supporters of the channel and the other people that don't support the channel. They're just my detractors. But one of the things that I read was that if it wasn't for the referee deducting the point from KC and the knockdown that Boots scored, that Boots would have lost this fight. And some people believe that KC actually still won this fight. Double salute to my guy, Gary. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your support and contribution to the channel. As always, Gary says in the super chat, hit the like button if you want answers. Thank you so much, Gary, for that public service announcement. And that's all I'm saying. I'm going to give it to you the way it should be given to you. I'm going to serve this food the right way. I don't wear biased gloves on this channel. I'm going to give it to you straight, raw, and uncut like I always do, okay? But all I'm saying is help me pay for the groceries. You know what I mean? Hit the like button. As they always say on YouTube, it's free, and y'all know the rest, right? Thank you again, Gary, for that. So he did win. I just want everybody to understand that Boots won. Because a lot of people were saying that he lost, that KC got robbed, that the judges robbed KC. He should have won. Some people said that if it wasn't for the point deduction, if it wasn't for the knockdown, Boots really lost. And so, I just wanted to be clear and lay the foundation right there that Boots won this fight. Now, I also want to lay the foundation and say this. There is no secret in boxing that a lot of people, and I'm including boxing fans, content creators, not all of the content creators, but some or most content creators on YouTube, a lot of boxers, professional boxers that are active, and some retired boxers included, have very high expectations of Boots, including, of course, the fan base of Boots, right? Very high expectations. And we've seen this time and time and time again in our sport of boxing, that when people have high expectations for a professional boxer and they don't perform up to the level of expectation or the standard of the fan or the standard of that person that's watching that fighter or that professional boxer, they get disappointed, right? And the perception that they have typically and naturally is that this fighter underperformed. And most of the high expectation has come from the level of talent that the fighter or professional boxer has, right? And and that fighter, male or female, is held to an extremely high standard. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Boots has gotten the attention that he's gotten in a negative way, not just in this fight with KC, but even after the first fight with KC, because typically when you have a fighter who's accustomed to knocking people out or getting knockdowns over and over again, people expect to see knockouts and knockdowns every time this fighter compete in the ring. And then if it doesn't happen or meet that high expectation, that is when that fighter will feel the pressure from the fan base, feel pressure from the paying public. This is all natural, and it's the nature of the business. And so I don't think if a person have high expectations for Boots that they're wrong if they feel like he underperformed last night, okay? This is just a natural thing. It's not just in boxing, even in football, professional football, or professional basketball, or professional baseball, and the list goes on and on. Even in, other sports, as soon as that team who has high expectations of themselves, get in there and they play a team, especially a team that they're expected to just blow out by a number of points, and then they don't, they'll still get criticized, even if they win the game. And so Boots is being criticized even though he won the fight. And that's because of the high expectation based on the talent that Boots have and that he has displayed. Now, speaking of talent, I have to bring this up again because some of you may not have seen the video I published on Thursday, and some of you have. I gave a breakdown of this fight on Thursday that just passed, 2 days before the actual main event took place, just Thursday. The breakdown between KC and Boots. I broke it all the way down like an old rifle. And I'm going to replay some excerpts of the things that I said, because majority of the things that I said, probably like 90% of what I said in my breakdown actually came to fruition last night in this fight. I'm going to play because I want y'all to hear it. And then I want to air fry on that and talk about what actually took place with Boots and my observation and moving forward. But first, I got to give another double salute to my guy, Gary. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Again, Gary. Gary says in the super chat, salute, Manager Marty. I rock with Boots heavy. He's my favorite to watch. He definitely won the fight, but he got hit too much, in my opinion. And his father didn't do a good job of instructing him, in my opinion. We need answers. And that was from the super chat of my guy, member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew, Gary. Gary, I'm going to speak to that in a little bit. Now, I will preface what I'm going to speak to, what your super chat said in a minute, by saying this. Of course, because I'm there at the fight, you know, live audience can't hear what the trainers were saying. So I don't know what Bozy said. Of course, I didn't hear him. But some people have told me what Bozy said as far as in between the rounds by giving Boots instructions. I didn't hear what he said. So I don't know, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to give commentary on something that I didn't hear, even though Terrence Crawford gave commentary on a fight that he didn't see. But we're going to talk about that in another video. But in any event, hey, who that? Jesse Jai? Hey, Jesse Jai 528. Oh, I will answer your question gladly. All you have to do is make a contribution to the channel in the super chat, and I will publicly acknowledge your question and even answer it. Okay, Jesse? That's a really good question, Jesse, actually. Let me replay my prediction that I gave on Thursday. And I want to show it to you all so that nobody can say I recorded this after the fight. And then I try to publish it to you all as if, you know, I didn't say this on Thursday. So here's the date right here. I hope y'all can see it. Don't mind that green line. My phone is messed up. I'm going to get a new one. I have insurance. I'm going to get a new one, but I'm just being a little lazy. Y'all see the date that says November 7th, right? And this is the breakdown that I gave between Boots and KC in the rematch, heading into, you know what, I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape. Now, the opponent that Boots is going to fight this weekend, some people call him Karen. Some people call him Karan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. So I'm just going to call him KC, which is the initials for his first name and his last name. So we know that Boots, 32 wins, no losses. 29 of those wins have come by way of knockout. We know that Boots, in the first fight that these two warriors had, we know Boots was real gung-ho. He was fighting in D.C. on the East Coast. The city of Philly came out to support him on the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis when he fought Hector Garcia. And most of you remember that fight because Boots took some heat after the fight was over from content creators and the media. And of course, some boxing fans gave Boots heat as well because of our expectation of Boots. You know, every time Boots step in the ring, you know we all look for the knockout. And in this fight, Boots looked for the knockout. In that first fight with KC, Boots looked for the knockout. We saw him pressing the action. He was gung-ho. He was over-exerting himself. He was overextending some of his punches because he really wanted to put on a spectacular performance and really knock KC out. That did not happen. And so Boots, in this fight, and his words not mine, he's going to make the adjustment in this fight and not go for the knockout, not look for the knockout, because his words not mine, and Boots said it the best. He said, when you go look for the knockout as a professional fighter, most of the time the knockouts don't come. But if you take your time and have fun in the ring and do what you do on your terms, the knockout presents itself and then you take it. And I like that thought process for Boots. And when we look at KC, right? You know, even though KC is 24-2 with 13 knockouts, let me tell y'all something about KC, because I went back and I watched the first fight the other day. I went back and watched it. You know, I watched fights from years ago, from decades ago, all types of fights. I watch them about 3, 4, 5 times. Not in a row, consecutively in the same day, but I just go back and just watch fights, boxing matches. That's just what I do. And when I went back and watched this fight, I saw something that I didn't really place emphasis on when I was commentating the fight, because I did a live commentary on the actual fight, live commentary on the fight, the night of the fight. And most of you that remember this was here with me as a part of my audience when I did live commentary on the channel. But I noticed something. And I noticed that KC has a chin. I may have said it then, but I noticed it more and more as I watched the fight progress the other day. Jaron can take a punch, y'all. And a lot of people that was putting heat on Boots and saying, well, Boots didn't cut the ring off, Boots didn't look good, the guy did so well, the guy did this and that. And then some people said, well, the guy was running from Boots. It was just all kind of different mixed reviews after the fight was over. But I want people to really, really pay attention to something about KC. KC is a skilled boxer. And I don't think that he should be taken lightly by the boxing community when Boots beat him. Because even though Boots won in the first fight, a lot of people didn't want to give Boots credit for the win. A lot of people be criticizing Boots on the low. I be seeing y'all and I be hearing you. But what I'm basically getting at is give Boots credit for winning the first fight if you haven't already. And if Boots win this fight, which I believe he will, and I'll give my prediction and analysis later, give him credit. Because this guy, KC, he's not a slouch, y'all. He's not one of these guys who became a boxer haphazardly, and then he started working for Uber, and then he went out of boxing for years, and then somebody digged him out of the grave to call him so Boots can look good. This ain't that. KC can really box. KC has really, really good movement. Great footwork. Did y'all hear that? I'm going to pause it and stop it there because I want to make sure that we all on the same page. Can I get an audio check, please? Can I get a mic check? Can somebody in the live chat confirm just by saying yes or no whether or not you heard what I just said about KC? And while you're doing that in the interim, I'm going to double salute Boxing Hacker. Thank you for your support and contribution to the channel, Boxing Hacker. Boxing Hacker says in the super chat, I think Boots did a great job. Not even Floyd or Ray Robinson could whitewash everyone they fight. Karen showed up this time and ready to fight back. Thank you again, Boxing Hacker, for that. And you are absolutely correct. Karen definitely showed up this time and he was ready to fight. Let's see if we can get the audio check. Mr. Pragmatic, thank you. Jonathan Simon, thank you. All things, I appreciate you. Thank you. Lee, thank you. Smooth Criminal, appreciate you, Gary. Yes, indeed. So y'all heard what I said. I said that on Thursday by the phone booth, that KC is not a slouch. I had to go back and look at some footage of him, not just the Boots fight and the KC fight the first time. I watched some other footage on KC. But that fight, when he fought Boots the first time, we didn't get an opportunity, I'm talking about as a whole in the public, to really see how skillful KC was, because his game plan was to just go in there and survive the first fight, not stand in front of Boots, not exchange with Boots, do enough to pity pat Boots, use his good footwork, etc. Right? But I observed a lot of different things and I noticed a few things that KC was doing in the first fight with Boots, and he is a good fighter. And so even though it was not the result for Boots to get the knockout, Boots should get credit for winning the first fight, considering all the elements involved, because he's fighting a good fighter. And in this second fight, as you just heard me say, KC, oh, he's a good boxer. Oh, I mentioned some of the strengths that he had before the fight even happened. I told y'all that Thursday by the phone booth. I just wanted to make sure that we all were on the same page, because Boots won, right? And I believe somebody else won last night. I believe KC won last night too. Now remember, I'm the only one on YouTube that taught y'all this. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. I told y'all that fighters that lose in a fight can also win at the same time. Remember I told you that? And Isaac Cruz is the barometer that I use all the time. Well, I believe that Karen won too. I believe that KC won some fans last night that was watching on TV, probably some fans that was there live and living color at the event at the Wells Fargo Center last night. But guess what? He lost the fight on paper. And he lost the fight in the ring legitimately. KC did. But guess what? KC got some new fans, especially here in America. Oh, yes, he do. Oh, you better believe it. Because KC is a good fighter. I'm just going, hey, that's just what it is. So with that being said, by KC being a good fighter, Boots deserve credit for winning against a good fighter. I know everybody's expectation for Boots is so high that every time he get in the ring, you know, you just want him to just knock out everybody. But when you're fighting a person as a professional boxer, any professional will tell you this. When you fighting a professional and they have good skills and they're tactical and or they're technical, it's hard to get the knockout. It's hard to get a knockdown. It's hard to look good when fighters are either not just on the same level, but let's say if the A side is level 5 and the B side is level 4. It's going to be a competitive fight, y'all. Hey, Dion, I don't know why you said, what's not true, Dion? Dion said in the chat, not true, Marty. What part's not true? I believe KC is a good fighter. I also believe that he won some fans last night. He came to fight, and we're going to talk about a little bit of that. I'm going to play just a tad bit, just a little bit more of the breakdown that I gave on Thursday. This is to the new audience that's joining us live in living color. It's all right if you late to class. Come on in. Come on in. Grab a plate. Have a seat. I have some food to serve you. Yeah, some food for thought. Yeah. Come on in and have a seat. I'm gonna continue playing some of the replay that I gave on my breakdown on Thursday that just passed this past week on Thursday when I gave a breakdown of the fight between Boots and Karen. You just heard me acknowledge that he is better than most people gave him credit to be better than in the first fight. I told y'all that. This is before this second fight even happened. I said that, and most of you just heard it. So let me finish playing some more of what I said in a breakdown and my prediction of this fight before it actually happened. Whether he was running to survive or not, he was very elusive in the first fight, as he should have been. I wouldn't recommend any fighter standing in front of the Boots and trying to exchange with him. But also, KC was able to land some punches, not a lot, but a few, because you're going to get hit in boxing, regardless of who you are. And it made for an intriguing matchup up until the part where people realized, like, okay, KC is just, it seems like he's trying to survive now. It don't look like he's trying to really, really engage with Boots. And so a lot of people don't give credit to KC, but he is a polished, reputable opponent and fighter. And I wanted to put that out there first because a lot of people might criticize Boots like they always do if he come out with a win. This guy, Karen, has a lot of skills. And it's really, really difficult to maintain a game plan the way that he did mentally in the face of adversity. And so that's what I want to start with when I talk about the breakdown of this fight. And this is going to be a good fight. This is not going to be a first-round knockout for Boots. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Boots is going to go in there before the great city of Philly, his hometown, and he's going to have fun. And I actually hope he do get the knockout. But this is not one of those fights where, all right, Boots going to watch him in the first round and everybody get to go home. No, man. This is going to be an interesting fight because of their styles. And we know this in boxing, their styles make fights. Let me do another audio check real quick. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Can I get a mic check? 1, 2. Hello, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Is this thing on? Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Is my lavalier on? Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, testing. Did y'all hear that? Can I get a mic check in the chat? Just a yes or no. Did y'all hear what I just said? I just want to, hey, listen, I don't ask for much. It's just yes or no. Did y'all hear what that? Y'all heard that? Thank you. So I was setting the foundation before this fight happened. This was on Thursday to my new audience that's just joining us live in living color. On Thursday, when I gave the breakdown of this fight, I told y'all about a phone booth that this was not going to be one of the fights where Boots is going to go in there and just run straight through this guy and get a first round knockout. I told her that. Because KC is a skillful fighter from what I've been seeing on the little bit of videos that I was able to see, including the first fight when he fought Boots the first time, okay? And he has footwork, good footwork. I said that. And I pointed out other strengths that KC have that will make the fight that we saw on Saturday night very interesting. Very good, tough fight. I said that. I just want to make sure everybody heard me. Okay, let me finish, and then I'm going to get on to the other 2 points I want to make. And both styles are good styles. Boots style and KC style. To make it an interesting fight. to make it a cat and mouse fight. Hit and not get hit is the mentality of KC, and we saw that in the first fight. And we saw that last night. We need to see, which we will see, in my opinion, Boots make adjustments from how he performed in the first fight and his strategy for the first fight, because Boots have one of the best trainers in the game, in Mr. Bosey, my guy, my old head, Mr. Bosey. And Mr. Bosey is really good at telling his fighters what they need to do with proper instruction. Certain elements that most trainers are not equipped with these days in boxing. They don't give their fighters the instruction during the 60-second rest period. They don't give their fighters motivation, some of these trainers. And primarily, they don't teach. They don't teach in the gym. And Mr. Bosey is a teacher. And so because he's a teacher and he gives great proper instructions to his fighters that he trained, including, of course, his son, we're going to see Boots not only make the adjustment inside of the fight, but also the adjustments that I believe Boots made during training camp. Because him and KC at this point, they know each other now. They know each other. And I think that one of the ways that Boots can slow KC down, because I believe KC's going to get in there. He's going to try to fight Boots, of course. He ain't going to bang it out with him. Ooh. But he's going to try to use his great... I was wrong. I said he ain't going to bang it out with Boots. Ooh, go listen to that bull. I was wrong. I was wrong. Listen, though, listen. Which is his footwork to elude Boots. And I think one of the things that Boots was very successful at doing in the first fight was landing body shots. Those body attacks that Boots was landing slowed KC down a little bit. And I think in this fight, all Boots have to do is take his time, break down KC's body, land those body shots when necessary, when it is available for him, and then it'll start slowing KC down to where Boots don't have to chase him down enough to get him to be stationary as a target so that Boots can land those effective punches. Another punch that a lot of people probably missed, that I probably even missed myself, and I went back and I watched this first fight, and I noticed that Boots landed a lot of good uppercuts. So the body attack and the uppercuts, especially in close quarters, those two punches, the body punches and the uppercut for Boots, are going to pay dividends for him to come out victorious, and including a knockdown and or a knockout. And even if Boots don't get a Stop. Did y'all hear that? Let me see if I can get another. I'm going to stop it right there. I'm not playing any more of it. I'm going to stop it right there. Can I get a mic check? We have 2 super checks that I have to publicly acknowledge. But can I get a mic check? Testing 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Check 1, 2. Mic check. Hello, is this thing on? Can y'all hear me? Check 1, 2, 1, 2. My lavalier on? Check 1, 2. Could y'all hear me? Did y'all hear that? I'm just asking the question. You know, I don't ask for much. Just yes or no. I don't ask for much. In the chat, can I get a yes or no? Did y'all hear that? Actually, it's 3 super chats that I have to acknowledge. Did y'all hear that? Thank you, Gary. Dominique, thank you. All things, I appreciate it, Victor. So y'all did hear me say that. I said there's 2 punches that Boots is going to have to land to get either a knockdown or a knockout. Thank you, Deem and Steve. What 2 punches did Boots land that knocked Karen down last night? It was the body punch, and then it was the uppercut. Y'all remember that? Hey, 90% of what I told y'all in the breakdown, it happened. And it happened because of both of these guys' styles and because KC is not a slouch. He's a good fighter. I told y'all that by the phone booth. He's a good fighter. So Boots, even though people's expectations of Boots is high right now, and people are saying that he underperformed, give the man credit for winning against a good fighter. He was not in there with a Uber driver. No disrespect to anyone who drives for Uber. But I'm just trying to figure out when the last time you saw a Uber driver get in a fist fight. Okay, then. So that's all I'm saying is a Uber driver's record, he don't have any fighting experience. I'm talking about while they're on the job. Let me be clear on that. You know I've got to make this entertaining, right? But what I'm basically saying is Boots fought a good fighter last night. So Boots won, and he deserves credit because he fought a good fighter. Now, to the things that I've observed last night. Let's start with Boots. Let's start with him. First and foremost, the obvious. I mean, we have to talk about the obvious, okay? And the obvious that everybody saw at this point, and I'm not saying, hold on, L-Dub, double salute to L-Dub Boxing. I'm not saying that Uber drivers don't got hands. What I'm saying is Uber drivers specialize in one profession, and that's Uber. And then they specialize in, let's say some Uber drivers may have another job, right? They're experts and they specialize in that field. It's just a saying. I don't mean true, genuine, legitimate Uber drivers. It's just a saying, because I don't like to use the term trash can or tomato cans when we're talking about human beings who are taking punches. So that's why I use the profession that human beings can actually participate in, like Uber driver. So, and that's not just for you, L-Dub. That's for anybody else that don't understand when I, use humor and illustrating my points here. But Boots wasn't in there with someone who doesn't know how to fight, who doesn't have a skill set, who doesn't have strengths, right, in that ring, who don't know what they're doing. He was in there with a very good fighter, all right? Now, of course, we know that there's levels. Now, don't get it twisted now. Don't get my words twisted here. There are, somebody said a 7-Eleven. Yeah, When the last time you saw a 7-Eleven store clerk get in a fist fight? They usually give it up when the person come in the store and say, give me the money. They just give it up. They don't fist fight. When you last time you seen that? So that's all I'm saying. Also, real quick though. So there's levels in boxing, right? We know that KC is not on the level of Boots when we talk about talent, right? But he is a good fighter, and we can't take anything away from KC, right? But that means we have to give Boots some credit for winning, even if the expectations that people have for him that are high made them feel or think or perceive that he underperformed, right? He fought against a good fighter. Now, to my observation, the obvious is that Boots took a lot of unnecessary punches. We just gotta, that's the reality of this, okay? Boots took a lot of punches. We've never seen Boots take these many punches consistently in one whole fight. And I'm talking about clean, effective punches. And he took them from KC. And I'm gonna tell you what I observed. I observed that every time Boots did get a punch landed on him, it was when his hands were down and he was not protecting himself. And mainly is because he was offensive minded. Excuse me. Okay? So Boots took a lot of punches. And we don't want to see Boots take, those punches, especially those many, because you're going to get hit in boxing. And we all understand that. Double salute to C. Irvin the Wiz. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. In the super chat, C. Irvin the Wiz says, Karen couldn't barely stand up after that fight. Yeah, he didn't get the KO, but Karen got beat the HELL up. I want to see who is going to fight Karen next. Well, like I said, Karen, he won some fans last night. And he even probably won some investors. You know Turkey Al-Ashiki will throw that money at you. He might even want Turkey Al-Ashiki's vote to get in there and fight somebody else. I'm just saying. But even though he lost last night, his career is not over. Karen's career is not over. He got a few losses on his record, but he's marketable. Hey, and he can fight. And so, hey, I'm sure his fight will be coming up next soon. I wouldn't be surprised. Double salute to my guy. Thank you for your contribution. As always, man. As always supporting the channel. My guy, Victor. Thank you for your super chat and your contribution. Victor says in the super chat, live in living color. Roll the tape. You better believe it. We definitely going to roll the tape, Victor, and we always live in living color. And I got a special video for you, Vic, that I'm going to drop probably about 2 hours after this live go off. It's going to drop into the YouTube boxing atmosphere. And I think you're going to really like it. Because I know your style, Vic. I know your style. Double salute again to Boxing Hacker for his contribution that he's made again to the channel. Boxing Hacker, thank you again, man. Boxing Hacker says in the super chat, Boots will get more fights now since he no longer looks like the Highlander. He looks mortal now. Another win for him, Madrimov, would be a tough fight. Absolutely. And we see fighters and even content creators and even fans all across the world are coming out now, including Ryan Garcia, coming out saying they ready to fight Boots now. Some people wasn't even thinking about fighting Boots before. But now, because, you know, Boots couldn't get any fights, it's hard for Boots to find sparring partners. I don't know if y'all know that, but that's the talk of the town here in my city of Philadelphia, here in Philly. It's hard. It's not even a secret either. It's hard for Boots to find sparring partners, let alone professional fighters in the ring. And so now people are coming out of the woodwork and they're saying, oh, I can beat Boots. Oh, he got exposed. I'm ready for him now. You see? So, hey, everybody's saying that they're ready to fight Boots now. And, hey, this probably opened the door for him to get more fights. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya even tweeted. And now he has come out and he has entered Virgil Ortiz in the sweepstakes. Now, it's interesting to me that when Virgil Ortiz was at 147 and Boots and them offered to fight Virgil Ortiz, and Virgil Ortiz and them had so many different excuses, they didn't want to fight Boots then. But now, all of a sudden, Virgil Ortiz is calling out Boots, and this is right next to Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? He's calling out Conor Benn as well. So, I mean, look, Virgil Ortiz calling them out. Conor Benn is calling Boots out. It is what it is. Everybody's coming out now, and they're ready to fight Boots. Double salute to my homegirl. She's a moderator of the channel, and she's always graceful in the chat. Thank you for your contribution and your support. Dion says in the super chat, if Boots cannot show out on Karen, what can he do with the likes of Crawford? Boots could not show out in his town. I don't care how decent of a fighter Karen is. Lackluster performances. And those were the words of our homegirl of the channel, Dion. Those were very strong words, Dion, and I respect your perspective. And hey, that's a very good observation. That's a very good, appropriate observation to have. And I think that's an observation that most people have on Boots' performance last night. People say it's lackluster, like you did, Dion, and some other people who said it as well. And you know, making a comparison. If he can't, you know, knock out Karen, he won't be able to knock out no one else, especially in a 154-pound division. I mean, that's a fair assessment. But once again, Karen is a good fighter. And according to what Dion said, she don't care if Karen's a decent fighter or not. And that's understandable too. And I think it's because, once again, like I said earlier, it's because of the high expectation, you know, a lot of people have on Boots. Double salute to my guy, day one supporter of the channel, My main man, Pots and Pan, representing Maryland, Baltimore, stand up. My guy, Lucky McKinnell's. Lucky in the super chat, thanks again, big dog. Lucky says, salute, Manager Marty. Double salute to you again, Lucky. Now, let me talk about some other things that I observed. Of course, the obvious one was obviously that Boots was taking a little bit of excessive punches. In this fight. And we can't undermine any of these guys. I mean, think about Madrimov. He gave Terrence Crawford some trouble, right? And Terrence Crawford have a lot of high expectations from his fan base and from people in the boxing community in general. And so when he didn't perform with a knockdown or a knockout, something that people are accustomed to seeing Terrence Crawford do, people did the same thing with Bud. You know what I mean? They was criticizing him and, you know, saying this and that, and he's not going to be ready for Canelo. And so all this is the same thing. So I don't think nobody should take it personal, you know, that Dion has her perspective or anybody else have their perspective on this, because at the end of the workday, this comes with it. You know, this comes with it. Double salute. Dion, thank you for your contribution one more time. Dion says in the super chat, Marty, he was billed as the next coming. Prove it. Dion is right. Boots is billed and always is billed as the next coming. And when these fights come up, where Boots is confronted and presented with these fights, well, he does have to prove it. And that's the bottom line. And Dion is right. He definitely have to prove it. And every fighter who is billed as the next coming has to prove it. But at the same time, the flip side of that coin is these fighters get in there with people that some other people may not have high expectations of, like Karen, like KC. A lot of people wasn't talking about how good KC was and the strengths that he had in the first fight. So some people wrote Karen off. You know what I mean? They didn't acknowledge the skills that he had with his feet and everything like that, even though he did practically run in the first fight, but he still got skills. Cash Crypto in the building. And you know when Cash Crypto pull up to the parking lot, you know he going to shout out, Mac Marty! He going to shout that out, and then I got to throw the keys down to let him in. Mac Marty, activated. Cash, what's up, big dog? So we got to give credit to the guys that may not have notoriety or a big fan base in America. You know what I mean? Big Supreme calls me Mac Marty as well. I see you. Mac Marty is activated. You know it. But yeah, so that's one of the things I observed. He took too many punches. And that's because I believe he was offensive-minded, defensively irresponsible by keeping his hands down and not protecting himself at all times because he was on an attack. He was on a mission to basically knock Karen out. I saw that look in Boots' eyes. He was frustrated. Another thing, he was frustrated with Karen because Karen kept excessively holding. And he was frustrated with that guy. You know what I mean? And guess what? Even when Karen was hitting Boots, that frustrated Boots too. Like, oh, I got something for him. You know, I'm going to get my get back. And that's how fighters think. You know what I mean? But Boots was frustrated. All right? And I have to tell you what else I observed. I observed something. Let me see what round it was. Because I was actually texting a couple of friends of mine. One of them is here live and living color. He already told you in the chat that we were texting. I'm gonna try to see what round that was. I think it was like the second round. It was like the second or third round. I'm trying to find the text. Here we go. It was like the second or third round, and the first thing I text was let me find it. Here we go. I said. Oh, well, the first thing I actually text, I'm going to save that for my next point. But in the second and third round, I basically told in the text now, In the text. I basically, two or three people would text me at the same time. And I basically told them that I observed, this is just me. This is just me talking now. And what I observed in that ring from Boots, knowing Boots, his conditioning was off to me. And listen, I'm telling you my observation, my post-reaction. This is no excuse. I'm just telling you what I observed. Boots' conditioning looked off to me. To me. And I've seen Boots spar several times. I've seen Boots fight live several times. I've seen Boots fight even when I wasn't at the actual fight on TV. Okay? Boots' conditioning looked like it was off to me. And the reason why I say that, if you go back, I don't know if the fight is published on the YouTube or not, but in the first 2 or 3 rounds, I saw Boots spitting. Boots. He was breathing, but he kept spitting. And he was breathing with his mouth open. I was sitting that close, ringside. You might have not picked this up on TV, but he was breathing with his mouth open to the point where you can see spurts flying out of his mouth because he was breathing. A little bit harder than I expected him to, because a lot of people don't give Boots credit for this strength that he have. His conditioning. Boots' strength is his conditioning. He's a special fighter. His conditioning looked off to me. Now, of course, some people can theorize that and say, oh, he didn't train as hard as he should have. Look, I don't know about all of that. All I know is I'm not used to seeing Boots breathe with his mouth open in the first 2 or 3 rounds. So his conditioning was off. And that's not an excuse. I'm just saying that could have contributed to some of the lack of performance that people wanted to, him to be on point for. It's not no excuse, but we just got to be, that's just my observation. Okay? Another thing that I noticed, that Boots did not have any head movement. And it's not the first time we noticed that, but I'm just saying, usually Boots is a little bit more elusive, right? Even when a fighter, an opponent of Boots, throw a hook, and Boots, you know how Boots like to turn his head at the same time? It might look like on TV that the opponent actually hit him when he turned his head, but most times they don't even hit Boots. It just looked like it because he times it very well. But I didn't see him moving his head when he was pursuing, and that's where he was getting caught at with his hands down a lot, as KC was landing those shots. I also observed that after the knockdown, that Boots started abandoning the body attack. And I kept screaming ringside, go back to the body, Boots, back to the body. Because you heard me say, y'all, I played my breakdown and my prediction of the fight that I published on Thursday, right? And you heard me say the 2 punches that will give KC problems. I said the uppercut and the body punch. Y'all heard it, right? I already got a mic check and you confirmed it. Some of y'all in the chat, right? Yeah. So he abandoned the body attack sometime. And I'm gonna tell you something. Every time Boots hit that guy to the body, it caught KC's attention. You know, Boots was hurting that bull to the body. He kept backing up a little bit. Boots was tagging him to the body. And when he was, it was effective. Might not have been effective to drop the guy, and I'll tell you why in just 30 seconds. But that's what I observed. I also observed something else. 2 more things, and I'm going to go to my next point. I observed that Boots, and I'm only saying this because I know I've been watching Boots fight for a long time. And it seemed like to me that Boots expected Jaron to jump on his bicycle. I'm talking about the times that he didn't, like in the beginning of the fight. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. I was even surprised because you heard me say in my breakdown that Jaron not gonna stand in front of Boots and bang it out with him and exchange punch for punch with Boots. Y'all remember that, right? And I acknowledge that I was wrong. I did not expect KC, to just stand in the pocket and stand toe-to-toe with Boots. Boots we talking about here. I got something for that too. And another thing that I observed. Now, what I'm about to say might not be the most popular thing because most people on YouTube don't know too much about boxing, and that's unfortunate. But because I am in the field of boxing and I understand the nuances and the elements involved in the circle of play, I have to say what I observed, okay? And this is an adjustment that Boots have to make with his team. Because you know, people keep saying now, this is the old adage in boxing, that you're only as good as your last fight. Y'all know that, right? That's what people say. That's been going on for decades now. But I told y'all on this channel that we're going to change the adage of you're only as good as your last fight. And what do I always tell y'all? You only as good as the team around you. Because you can look good in your last fight. And then in your next fight, you might not look that good. And now I can use Boots as an example to illustrate my point. In Boots' last fight, he got a what? TKO against David Ebenezer, correct? But in this fight, he didn't get the TKO. And even Boots admitted himself that he wasn't his sharpest. So it's not about how you look in your last fight. It's about the team around you and how good they are. So there's an adjustment that I noticed that needs to be made in Boots' corner. And that is, and I got a lot of love and respect for her. I'm not going to say her name. But his cut woman. Okay? She's a very humble person. Last night, though, I observed things that need to improve. And quite frankly, Boots had a mouse under his eye, from what I can see. From what I can see where I was sitting. And I did not see the cut woman use that inswell to press upon that mouse, the mouse on Boots' eye consecutively, consistently, round after round after round. I didn't see that. I didn't see the ice pack be put on Boots' face round after. I did see that a couple of times, but it wasn't round after round after round after round, right? With the inswell that will reduce the swelling, right? Okay. I did see that the ice pack was used more consistently to be placed on Boots' chest. Not the back of his neck, not his face, not the inswell, but just on his chest, rested on his chest. And I think that's necessary too, but it wasn't the inswell being used consistently. When there's a mouse under the eye or fighter, you have to use that inswell consistently, round after round. Every chance you get, that cut man or cut woman has to apply that inswell on that swollen part of the face or the eye every chance they get. So every time the bell ring and the fighter go to the corner, right, for the 60-second rest period, inswell. First thing. Now, I'm not an expert, so I can't tell you how long the inswell should be placed on that area of swelling. But I know it's supposed to be utilized consistently. And most of you might know that because you know why I can prove that on this platform? Because I had Danny Davis come up here a year and some change ago. Y'all remember that? One of the best, if not the best, cut man in the sport of boxing behind my man Stitch. I had him come up and give the breakdown of the nuances of a cut man or a cut woman and their job description. Y'all remember that? And I presented some scenarios to him. Y'all remember that, right? Some of y'all might not have remembered that, but that's okay. That video is still published of that interview when I had him come up here. Okay? So what I'm saying is I didn't see that, and I noticed that that should have been more consistently used. I don't think it was used enough at all to reduce the swelling on Boots' eye. So that needs to be improved immediately. Because if Boots' eye would have swelled up even more and he couldn't see or part of his vision was impaired by swelling, there were punches that he probably couldn't see that could have possibly hurt him. Not just against KC, anybody moving forward. So I observed that, and I think that needs to be adjusted as well. And speaking of performance, and you heard me say this in the short right after the fight, and I have to say this before I let you all go. We almost done the family cookout. But I have to tell you what I see, and I call it how I see it. Karen, his performance looked enhanced to me. I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with you. His performance looked enhanced. And there were people that were texting back and forth with me, and I told them, this is no excuse now for Boots' performance or lack thereof in your mind. I'm just keeping it 100. What I observed, his performance looked enhanced to me. And most of these journeymen, especially from Russia, you know what they do out there. But I'm not the one to tell you whether or not the performance enhancement is illegal or legal. See, let's be clear on that, because every time I use the term performance enhancement, when I say the two words performance enhancements, you know what's interesting about that, Dion and Cash Crypto? When I use the two words performance enhancement, guess what happens? Most people automatically rush to judgment and say, Manager Marty, you are accusing a fighter of using performance enhancement drugs. If I even use those two words, performance enhancement, you know what y'all gonna say? Not y'all that's watching me, y'all, we family. I'm talking about the haters that's watching. They watching too, I see them. They say, I don't physically see them, y'all. Don't take those words literal. They say, oh, you saying that Terrence Crawford is using steroids. I heard you. How you holding me accountable to words that I never said? I asked the Terrence Crawford fan that when he came up one day. I'm still waiting for an answer. That was last year. But my point is, when I say the word performance and enhancement, in the same breath, people always say, oh man, you're accusing somebody of juicing. No, I'm not. I'm not an expert of whether the enhancement is legal or illegal. I leave that up to the experts. I would say I'll leave it up to testing, but we know there's some undetectable things out here. Undetectable substances that can't be tested, right? Okay, then, so I'll leave that up to the experts. But I'm telling you right now, I know what I saw. Karen's performance was enhanced, in my opinion. That's what I think. And guess what? I didn't just say this because I'm on camera today. Danny Garcia, former multiple weight division world champion, my guy, Danny Garcia, was sitting ringside 2 rows in front of me. I was so adamant. I tapped Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia knows who I am. But my point is, I tapped Danny on the shoulder because me and Danny talk all the time, especially at the fights. I tapped Danny right on the shoulder. I tapped Danny on the shoulder. He was sitting 2 rows in front of me. I tapped Danny Garcia on the shoulder, and when he turned around and he didn't recognize it was me, he was, shook my hand like, yo, what's up? I said, Danny, that guy, Karen's, his performance is enhanced. And Danny Garcia was like, he was like trying to figure out, you really think so? Yo, I'm telling you, Danny, this guy's performance is enhanced. You see, this ain't the first time. I got to take my glasses off so I can hear myself say this part. This is not the first time that I sat at a fight, live and live in color, and told people around me, whether they knew me or not, when I noticed that a fighter's performance was enhanced. Y'all remember the last time this happened? You know BFTB, the guy who all of a sudden has a problem with me and I did nothing wrong to him? Him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The guy who lied and said he didn't ask me to take a picture with me. Him, that guy. Well, anyway, I didn't even know him and still don't, but I didn't know him. I didn't know I was going to sit next to him. All I know, he was in my vicinity. And I told him, Terrence Crawford performance looked enhanced at the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight. Y'all remember that? Oh, okay. And guess what? I was sitting with one of my closest friends at the Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius fight. And you know who was on the undercard, right? It was Caleb Plant versus Anthony Durrell. Y'all remember I told y'all that, right? And guess what? As soon as Durrell hit the canvas, instantly I turned to my homie, good friend of mine. I said, "Yo, Caleb Plant performance enhanced." You see, this is not the first time. But what I will tell you this, I got to put my glasses on to say this part, because you know it's true. Every time I told y'all a fighter's performance was enhanced, I was right. Now, whether it's legal or illegal, I'll leave it up to the experts. I'm going to tell you who else performance looked enhanced last night, since we on that. Then we going to end it right here. I got some other points I want to say. I'll tell you who else a performance looked enhanced. I know some of y'all ain't gonna like this. The guy that fought the guy, Cole. That guy Cole. That's him, right? Yeah, the guy Cole. That other guy fought him. Jalazis, I don't know his name. The guy who moved up from 140 and he worked his way to 175. Him. Yeah, him. His performance looked enhanced last night. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I saw that. I was like, this guy Galoshes, whatever his name is. I said, oh wee. I listen, y'all. There's three things I know. And all three of them start with the letter B. Business, Bible, boxing. I knew it. And I know when somebody's performance is enhanced. And that guy, Galafas, man, I was like, yo, this guy, Galafas, his performance is enhanced. I saw that. And of course, you know I'm going to tell y'all this last one. And I know some people are going to be mad. And that's okay. Bam Bam Rodriguez. I'm just going to say it like this. The guy that Bam Bam Rodriguez fought, and I like Bam Bam Rodriguez too. I didn't know he was that small in real life. He's a very small guy. He's a really good fighter. I like Bam Bam. But the thing about Bam Bam, right? The guy that he fought has over, 43 professional fights? And the guy never got knocked out, ever. Out of 40, I got to say this, y'all, and I'm going to move on and end it with Boots. After 40-something professional fights, the guy, what's his name, Cuevas, the guy got knocked out for the first time out of over 40 professional fights. I think he got 44 or 45 professional fights. He get in there and fight Bam Bam Rodriguez. And for the first time, he gets TKO'd? My goodness. And what was Robert Garcia in them win in the corner? And what was the logo on the trunks of Bam Bam Rodriguez? I got to take my glasses off to say this. The snack program. And speaking of snack, you know Victor Conti still owe me money. But it's Sunday. It is a Sunday. They say it's the Lord's Day. So I'm not going to ask for my money today. Because it is Sunday, y'all. Hey, Deem, it's Sunday, brother. I ain't supposed to ask for no money on Sunday. Don't the preachers ask for money on Sunday? Okay, anyway, I'm not going to ask for... Victor, if you're listening, hear me, run me my money, Vic, all right? It's like, no. But listen, the snack program works. And it worked last night. I saw it live again. You know, I saw the snack 10 times already live. It works. And it worked in Bam Bam Rodriguez's case. Don't get mad at me because you know who his trainer is, don't you? Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia. And remember, Victor Conti, don't make me pull the tape because you know I own the content. Victor Conti was here. And he told me to my face and told y'all as an audience that he sponsors Robert Garcia's gym. That means anybody that trains at Robert Garcia's gym, they're going to see the banner hanging above the ring. This is what Victor told me, and I can run the tape, roll the tape back. They're going to see the banner of Snack in there. That's why Robert Garcia has an individual, independent relationship with Victor. And I wouldn't be surprised if Velasquez is on it. You know the guy Rayo, and I like Rayo. I do. I like the guy. The one that fought my guy Isaac Cruz and never got tired the whole fight. He never worked that hard. The snack program works, okay? And I saw it in live and living color. So those three fighters, KC, the guy Galeros, I think that's his last name, and Bam Bam Rodriguez. All three of their performances looked enhanced. And you want to know something else? All of them are not from America. My God. Well, that's all I got to say about that. But here's the thing. Moving forward, I'm going to read a tweet that Boots put out earlier today. And we're going to leave it on Boots' words, because Boots has shown character in the face of adversity. He has shown character in his underperformance in the minds of people, or lackluster performance in the minds of others. And he's showing humility by acknowledging, even publicly acknowledging, that he was not being his sharpest. And we have to give Boots credit for having character, because he still won. This is what Boots said today, earlier today, in a tweet. He says, thanking God for another one. I couldn't have done it without him. Another successful night at the Wells Fargo Center. I know it was not my sharpest last night. Oh, I apologize. He said, I know I wasn't my sharpest last night, but it's on to the next. Time to get back in the lab and get better. I appreciate everyone that came out. Y'all showed up and showed out once again. You have to respect Boots. He's acknowledging that he wasn't his sharpest. He's acknowledging that it is time for him to get back into the lab, and he's acknowledging that it's time for him to get better. So all I'm saying is, when you got a guy who was in front of his hometown and he didn't dominate the way he wanted to against a good fighter, but he still wins, and then he comes out and acknowledges it, you have to give Boots credit for that. I believe that they are going to make adjustments in the gym. I believe Boots is going to improve on, him having a mindset that just because a fighter can land punches on him and not hurt him, he still want to basically just walk through those punches. But we don't want Boots to take unnecessary punishment. Everybody's gonna get punched in boxing. We know that. But Boots got to keep his hands up. He has the best trainers, one of the best training staffs in boxing. They know what they have to do, and they're going to make I'm confident that they're going to make the improvements. Okay? Boots won last night. Some people treating Boots like he lost. Like Boots the one that got knocked down. You know what I'm saying? Like he won. Okay? And he won against a guy who is a good fighter. And I still believe that KC's performance was enhanced. But the bottom line is Boots won, and he's talking to the people, the public, and saying that he's going to improve, he's going to get better, he's going to go back in the lab. And I think that we should give Boots credit for that, and also give him his time to be able to adjust. Boots had a bad day at the office. And if we all have done something long enough in our professions where we have bad days at the office sometimes, it happens. Even in the professions that we represent. So fighters are allowed to have a bad night at the office. Not just Boots, all the fighters. You know what I mean? But when you have high expectations of a fighter, all of that comes with it. And we understand that as well. And so all I'm saying is, I think Boots should stay at 147 and continue to live out his quest to become undisputed. I don't think the timing is right for him to move up right now because he has a goal that he wants to accomplish. And I think that he should accomplish that goal. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all like I always have done. Boots is going to take over the division of the welterweights. And I don't see nobody in the welterweight division that can actually beat him. And so I think that, yes, they should continue with their efforts of him being undisputed, collecting the belts, and living out his dream, not being influenced by other people. Because, see, other people want him to fight Ortiz and move up. Timing is everything in the business of boxing. You know what I mean? Even Blair Cobb came out of the woodwork talking about he want to fight Boots. And he's been saying he's been wanting to fight Boots. But at the same time, he's doing what he's supposed to do, just calling Boots' name out. But I recommend Blair Cobb to do one more thing before he called Boots out. I'll take my glasses off for Blair. You're rolling with a guy who is helping you enhance your performance too. Because I haven't heard too many fighters with the mouthpiece in their mouth get their teeth knocked out. But once again, the snack program works. I told y'all about a phone booth, and I'll tell you again. Blair Cobb's performance was enhanced when he fought Broner, and we all know it. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Because people always try to criticize me and say, I don't know nothing about boxing. But you saw the breakdown that I gave on Thursday, right? Right. But not y'all. That was to them, because it's Sunday, you know, the preacher is here, Sunday. For the people sitting in the back of the church. That was for them. Double salute to my guy, Mike Dangerfield. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Mike says in the super chat, every fighter has that one guy that frustrates them, especially when they fought before. Hey, that's the truth. We've seen Marquez and Pacquiao fight multiple times. We've seen Holyfield and Riddick both fight multiple times. We've seen Holyfield and Mike Tyson fight multiple times. I mean, the list goes on and on. McDonough and Floyd Mayweather fought multiple times. Castillo and Mayweather fought multiple times. We see these things happen over and over again. You know what I mean? Hearns and Leonard fought multiple times. This how it be. It bees like this. That's Ebonics, but it bees like this sometimes. Listen, I held you all here 1 hour and a half. We did a tremendous job in the chat, super chat, everything. It's all good. And listen, Boots is going to make the adjustments, and we'll see what's happening in his career moving forward. I ended with Boots' words. Give that man a chance. I know that we have high expectations for Boots, but listen, he's going to go back to the drawing board. He's going to make the adjustments. I'm confident in that. And at the end of the day, he fought against a good fighter. And these things happen. And there's no excuse, but hey, these are things that can be worked on. You know what I mean? Him keeping his hands up. Boots is a very polished fighter. I know people not giving him the credit for it. But before this fight, you know what's interesting about this? Before this fight, people wasn't calling Boots out. Where was Victor Ortiz before this fight? Where was some content creators that was criticizing Boots now? Where was they at before this fight? You see everybody come out the woodwork when they see, oh, Boots is easy. Where was Ryan Garcia? And I like Ryan, but he wasn't calling out Boots before this. That's all I'm saying. But hey, he had a bad day at the office, and he's going to go back to the drawing board, and he's going to work on it and improve. And that's the bottom line. And I think Boots earned the right for us as the fan base to give him an opportunity to improve instead of writing him off. He didn't even lose and people trying to write him off. I'm just saying. And the people that gave Terrence Crawford excuses, because I remember some of y'all that's watching, not my family, not the Roller Tape family, the other ones. When Terrence Crawford didn't look good against Madrimov, people had a whole bunch of excuses. But you seen what Boots did. Boots didn't make no excuse. He didn't complain, right? He showed character in the face of adversity and acknowledged that he's going to improve and get better, and he wasn't his sharpest. Got to respect the man for that. And with that being said, man, I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it.